Alright guys, it's a Hulk vs. Hulk review. And I have to say, I know a lot of people have seen reviews on this, have done reviews on this, so I'm going to keep mine nice and short and fun. A lot of size comparisons and basically my initial thoughts on the figure. With that being said, here they are side by side. I had to do it first with the SH Figuarts Hulk from Age of Ultron. Because I like this figure a lot. I like this figure so much that I didn't think I needed this figure. But as time went on, that urge kind of grew because I watched reviews on it, I watched people posting about it. It is a fun figure, and it looked pretty cool, and I thought to myself, am I missing out? Am I making a mistake right here? So thankfully, my wife got it for me for my birthday, and I'm really happy she did, because he is awesome. In my opinion, right now, probably the Hulk to get to end all your Hulk figures. We'll get into that obviously later on, but here they are side by side with the Age of Ultron Hulk right here. Like I said, I like this one. He doesn't look typical Hulk looking, almost like an anime looking Hulk, but the uniqueness really caught my eye, so I like it a lot. But here they are side by side with their accessories. I am missing the hand for this one because I moved, and when you move houses and homes, you always lose stuff, so that just happens. But coming down to accessories, they both have basically a neutral face right there. This one comes with two extra ones. One's a grinning one and one's a shouting one. Well, this one comes with one shouting one. They both have two sets of hands, fist and open hands right there. Alright, so before we get into size comparisons with other figures, let's take a look at the head sculpts really quickly because they are pretty nice. As you can see up close, they definitely have a nice texture to them. The sculpting is fantastic. The paintwork is really good as well. Just overall looks pretty nice. The hair I actually like a lot too. You know, it has kind of a crew cut looking thing going on there, but patch on top. Now here's the head sculpt that has a grin on his face. You can see his teeth a lot better right there. Looks a lot angrier, which is pretty nice to have. And right here we have the shouting Hulk, which looks a lot angrier right there, which I like a lot. His mouth is wide open. See the redness in his mouth, see the anger in his eyes. And I think a lot of people use this one for a lot of different poses. And you could definitely get him into a pose, and his head sculpt is very fitting overall for him. Alright, size comparison time. So here he is the comic book versions of Captain America and Iron Man, which, you know, I mainly collect only, so I like how they look side by side right there. Like I said before, he does pretty much kind of fit. You can kind of pass him for a comic book looking Hulk right there. Alright, next up right here we have two different Thors. This is post New Hammer and before New Hammer. Overall side by side look pretty good. Alright, next up we have Thanos. Now this is the SH Figuarts one right here, and this is the Build-A-Figure version right there. Now I know a lot of people like the size. I definitely like the size of this Thanos right here. I think he's a lot more imposing, but the articulation of this one's a lot better overall, and the accessories. But here they are side by side. You guys have your own opinion right there. I know a lot of people like the 3-pack of this Thanos with the different skin tones. But yeah, overall not bad. They're both pretty big. Hulk is bigger overall though. Alright, another size comparison. Here are the big men. They are the Build-A-Figures of Juggernaut and also Rhino. And they're pretty big figures. Overall, look pretty good. You know, he is bigger than Rhino, which is fine. Not as wide though. But he is smaller than Juggernaut, which is fine with me as well. And just rebuilding the team from Thor Ragnarok right here. We have Thor, we have Valkyrie, we have Loki right there. Looks pretty good. And for another size comparison, we have the more modern figure of Colossus right here, sporting the goatee and beard, and we have Gladiator right here. Alright, next up right here, we have some DC figures. We have Rebirth Superman, and we have the Collect and Connect of Doomsday. And Doomsday does have a little bit of size on Hulk. Not that much, but overall, he's a little bit bigger than Hulk. And next up right here, we have Kingdom Come Superman, and we have the new Collect and Connect of Lobo. And before we go back to Marvel figures, here is the Mayfix Superman and Batman from Justice League as a side by side with the Hulk. And these are both movie figures as well. So they look pretty good. Alright, going back to Marvel Legends right here. And Marvel, we have the Marvel Legends Wolverine and we have the Thing right here. Probably two of the more fun opponents for the Hulk in the Marvel Universe. Overall size is pretty good. Wolverine is tiny. The Thing stacks up pretty well. You know, he's not as big of course, but side by side, they look pretty cool. And this is how I have them on my shelf. I have the Thing and the Hulk side by side because I like that clash as I was growing up. I love watching the Thing and the Hulk fight. Next up right here, we have Marvel Legends Captain America Steve Rogers in his stealth outfit right here, and we have Black Widow. Actually, this is a more of a custom one, modified that is, because I gave her more flat feet instead of the heels, which makes her a little bit shorter, but stands a lot better. And I actually do have the Infinity War Black Widow, but I haven't opened it yet because I like this one. I like red hair Black Widow overall, so there they are. And next up right here, we have some gods. We have Hercules and we have Ares, both Marvel Legends side by side with the Hulk. Alright, last but not least, we have a small figure in Spider-Man, and of course we have the Hulk Buster right there. Alright, so here they are side by side, and when it comes to height and basic overall size, the new one is a lot bigger. As you can see, he's taller. He's definitely a little bit more bulkier as well. Now this one isn't that bad. He's a little bit slimmer, but still is pretty good. Here they are side by side right there. As you can see, the new one is just a little bit bigger as well. A little bit thicker, more muscular. I think a little back as well. And definitely has a bigger back. I think you can extend his back just a little bit, not that much, but this one, man, you can really extend his shoulder blades out. Definitely a lot bigger like that. And this one's fantastic. The articulation is crazy. Now comparing these two, the greens are a lot different as well. He's more of a darker green while he is more of a lighter green. I also want to point out is the texture. Now on this figure, the texture is pretty normal, nothing to write home about, but the texture on this guy, I'm trying to zoom in as much as I can, is really nice. You can see the little grooves on his skin. It feels really good as well. Definitely something of nice quality. You definitely like those pecs right there. But just looking at the texture of the skin, it's something that, you know, a lot of people might not talk about, but it's there, and it's really nice to know and see. Alright, so quickly going to articulation. Now, the articulation really isn't that bad on this figure. They're pretty similar also, but it's just the range. The range of the articulation is a lot more superior on this figure. There also is a little bit different on the neck right there, so let's get into this one. This one has a standard neck joint on a ball joint, basically. You do get some good range, though. I'm not complaining. You can't go that far back, though. It goes pretty much down, which is nice, and rotates all the way around. So it's on a ball joint, so you shouldn't be that bad with it. This one, on the other hand, has a ball joint that goes all the way up, which is nice, goes all the way down, but does have a little bit of a hinge at the base of the neck, so you could go a little bit farther right there, but it doesn't extend that much more, but it's just nice to know that you have that option right there. And it is on a ball joint as well, so you can move it around a little bit more. Just a little bit better, not the greatest, but it's nice to know that it is there. Now it comes down to the shoulders. They both have butterfly joints, but this one, his butterfly joints are far more superior. This don't go out that much. They just move back and forth. Decent, not bad. I don't think it's bad at all, really. But it's just not as good as this one, as I showed before. This one, his back goes all the way in like that, and you can extend it all the way out if you can, like that, which is fantastic. And that definitely comes into play front view when you want to extend him to do a nice pose. You can see all the muscles coming out right there, which is really good and nice to look at. When it comes to the shoulders right there, also there is a ball joint in both of them. They have a ball joint inside the body and also in the shoulder right there, so it's pretty similar. Now both figures do not have bicep swivels, which I kind of did not like in the beginning, but actually they do a really good job in having really good range of motion in the shoulders that you really don't mind it, to be honest. You could actually rotate the arms pretty well forward, so it kind of makes up for the bicep swivel not being there. This one does a pretty good job too. Not bad. This one's a lot better. It kind of extends out more, but this one you could still kind of get it in the position you want it. So no bicep swivel. This one does a lot better job making up for that. Alright, now it's time for the ab joint pose down. Now this one has a pretty good joint in the abs. You know, it's a ball joint right here, and it goes down pretty far. I don't have any real complaints about it. It goes down pretty nicely. It goes back pretty nicely as well. Not a big gap. It does have a waist swivel over here as well. So, like I said, not bad. Pretty good. Now this one though, it does have a ball joint on the upper abs, which is fantastic. It goes down pretty decently overall, but it also goes even farther because there's a second joint in the lower part of the waist that goes all the way down like that. Now a lot of people don't like this gap right here or like how this looks because it's not really like skin tone with the figure, but That's pretty much on preference, but definitely goes down really far. As you can see, it goes up pretty decently. You do get more of a gap on this figure. Not a big deal to me, to be honest. A small price to pay for great articulation, but then this is where all the articulation comes in handy for this figure, because when he does a pose down like this, neck goes up really nicely. These shoulder blades, the wings right here, the butterfly joints come out, and then the nice shoulders that take the place of the bicep swivel extend a lot better. And there's that pose right there. Bring it in. That looks nice. Alright, now let's get into the lower legs right now. If I didn't say it before, this one doesn't have a waist swivel, and it's pretty good. A little stiff though, but it works fine. But when it comes to lower legs, I don't think either one is better than the other, to be honest. They both don't go full 90 degrees up. It's not the greatest, to be honest. This goes about this high up. But it does have good range at the knees, which is nice. And also, does do a pretty decent split overall. But yeah, both of them aren't the greatest. This one also doesn't go full 90 degrees up. I don't think he needs to be honest. But you still get some good poses overall for him to crouch over, which is fine. I don't think you need more than that anyway to get a good pose out of this Hulk. The waist swivel is pretty good. Right there, you just have two joints at the knees, but it's pretty much 90 degrees right there. And at the ankle right here, pretty similar range as a hinge joint right there that rotates. It also has a pivot, and the toes do move on this one. But that's pretty similar to this one as well. Alright, so comparing these two guys, lastly, you know, my last impressions is that obviously they're both good figures. But of course this one's more superior. If you want a nice classic looking Hulk, this is the way to go. He could fit either your comic book look or your movie look. He just has a nice classic looking Hulk look overall. When it comes down to body sculpt too, he probably is better. This one isn't bad, he's big as well. But he does have more of a slender look, if that makes sense. Like he's huge, so he's not slender, but you can tell on this one he has muscle over muscle over muscle, a little bit more bulkier, a little bit more swole looking. So that looks a lot better in my opinion. Articulation is a lot better on the range. You could definitely do a lot more of this one. The sculpting, the texture on the skin looks fantastic as well. Even the color of the green looks a lot better on this one. And yeah, so there it is, side by side, SH Figuarts Hulk, Age of Ultron versus Infinity War. And it comes down to which one you already have. You know, like I said, I try to hold out as long as I can for this one. I thought he was good enough for me, but this one obviously is more superior in every way, in my opinion. Alright guys, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick video and overview of the SH Figuarts Infinity War Hulk figure right here. It's a fantastic figure. I don't know, honestly, in my opinion, it is probably the be-all, end-all for Hulk figures. You could end your search right now, just get this one. I don't know, honestly, how much more they can improve on this figure to really make it even better. I could be wrong. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe better articulation in the legs. I don't know. Maybe better articulation in the hips. I don't know. Who knows? Everything looks fine. Everything looks fantastic. Everything looks perfect. So who knows what more they can do. But overall, I like it a lot. Definitely pick it up if you can before it gets too high in price. And that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like always, comment, criticize, subscribe. Do whatever you want to pay attention. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Peace!